Her hand trembled only slightly, but I saw it. The powder fell like snow into my champagne, fine, delicate, vanishing the instant it touched the bubbles. A practiced move, not hesitation, not accident, intent. She glanced at me, quick, almost too quick. Then her smile, bright, rehearsed, harmless to anyone who didn't look too closely. I held the glass, its weight suddenly heavier than crystal should allow. My wife's sister, the one who always lingered too close, who laughed too long at jokes not meant for her. I felt my pulse slow, not quicken, slow. She expected me to drink. She expected me to swallow whatever fate she had sealed inside the fizz. Instead, I smiled. Warm, perfectly timed. I rose from the table, my body moving with the ease of a man unconcerned. I crossed the room and placed the glass in her boyfriend's hand. "Here, for you." He raised it with a grin, drank, and I sat back down, the taste of betrayal already dry on my tongue. Laughter floated through the room, soft and careless, the kind of laughter families weave to mask cracks no one dares mention. But I wasn't listening. I was watching. Watching her eyes, the way they widened when he swallowed, the way her breath hitched, caught between panic and calculation. Why? That was the question. Not what. I knew the what. Poison is always the same, whether it comes in a vial or a whisper. But why? I studied her across the table, the tilt of her head, the way her hand brushed against my wife's arm, almost protective, almost too close. And I remembered. A few months back, my wife's phone lighting up at midnight, her sharp intake of breath when I reached for it, the way she claimed it was her sister every time I asked. Her sister. Always her sister. But now the sister wanted me silent. The pieces slid together with a cruel, effortless logic. I didn't need proof yet. Proof was for men who doubted their instincts. I knew. I smiled across the table, raised my empty hand as though toasting the night, and drank nothing at all. The days that followed moved slow, deliberate. I didn't confront. Confrontation is for the weak, for those who want noise instead of truth. I gathered, quietly. Her boyfriend, now pale, sickly, wasting without explanation, stayed mostly homebound. Doctors called it unknown complications. I called it the ripple of her intent. And while she spent her nights caring for him, I searched. Phone records, deleted texts, recoverable, always. Photos, fragments, enough to sketch the outlines of a secret drawn in hurried strokes. The words weren't kind, they were raw, breathless. They belonged not to siblings in law, but to lovers hiding in plain sight. Each message carved deeper into me, but I let no wound show. By day, I kissed my wife's cheek. I nodded when she told me she'd visit her sister. By night, I traced every digital breadcrumb until the full shape of betrayal stood naked before me. No rage, just clarity. I let her dig her own grave in silence. Every lie she spoke was another handful of dirt shoveled over the trust we once had. And I was patient, because patience makes the blade sharper. The test results arrived on a Tuesday. DNA doesn't lie. The child sleeping upstairs, the daughter I thought carried my blood, didn't. My hands didn't tremble as I held the envelope. Only my breath slowed again, that same unnatural calm as when I first saw the powder slip. That night, I slid the envelope across the table. She laughed at first, nervous, brittle. "What is this?" "Open it." Her fingers tore it apart. Her eyes devoured the numbers, the words. And then, silence. Not denial. She knew denial wouldn't survive the evidence. Instead, she broke. Shoulders caving, lips parting without sound. I didn't move. I didn't comfort. I watched. The way one watches a glass fall in slow motion, already shattered in the mind before it ever hits the floor. She whispered, "Please, don't." I cut her off with nothing more than a look. Across the table, I set my phone down. On its screen, every message, every photo, her words, her sister's words, her betrayal crystallized for anyone to see. Her breath stuttered. "No, you wouldn't." I already did. The file had been sent hours earlier, to her parents, to her friends, to her sister's now ruined boyfriend, who lay in a hospital bed poisoned by love he thought was his. Her eyes widened with the horror of understanding. Not the fear of losing me, she'd already lost me. No, she feared exposure, the collapse of the fragile mask she had spent years perfecting. And I sat, calm, composed, the executioner who never raised his voice. The house was silent later, save for the distant hum of the refrigerator and the faint whimpering of a woman who no longer owned her secrets. I didn't rage, I didn't touch her. I walked past her and into the night air, leaving the door open behind me. The stars looked colder than usual. Or maybe I finally saw them as they always were, indifferent. There was no victory in what I had done, no joy, only balance restored. She had poisoned the glass, but in the end, she was the one who drank. And as I lit my last cigarette on the porch, I realized something final, brutal and freeing. I had stopped loving her long before tonight.